Hello everyone and welcome to Capsule Cast. I'm your host, xmat, and we are back for the 2024 season, week 3, if you'll believe it. And I am joined with my co-host, Fathappy.
Yeah, hello, always a pleasure.
Perfect. And we've got some special guests today. We have Macho, coach of ED.
Hello, it's me, a Macho.
And Zao, coach of GT.
Sometimes Super 17 does good.
And sometimes he does bad. But this week he did good. Spoilers. Anyway.
Honestly, that's the perfect intro.
See, that's how we do things. Now let's get rolling onto the first match of the week. Team Muscle versus Royals. Now, I'm not going to go massively in depth because I think Fathappy has all of the match stored in his memory. But what I will say is we had an interesting starting match with Bobbity against Bojack, and I think it turned out differently to what a lot of people thought it would, in the sense that Bobbity kind of tore Bojack a new one. Anyway, I'm going to pass it over to Fathappy if you want to give us your thoughts on the match.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, Bobbity kind of decimated Bojack. I think Bojack only dealt like a bar and a half to Bobbity before Bobbity killed him with extreme overkill. Where during the whole thing, Bobbity is on a super build with, a few indignation stacks, and he landed a grab, which powers his ult, and so he hit like a 20k ultimate while he was fighting him. So it was something. Yeah. But Bobbity did incredible today, especially because he just entered into 100 clashes. It does suck when that happens for the other team, when, you're facing a character that has a clash boost, and then you do enter into like 20 clashes.
Yeah.
But
it's a lot of it's obviously good planning from you guys, but then also a little bit of bad luck for Muscle.
Yeah. Like even on a good day, it's rare that you have this many clashes, especially on the character that has the clash boost. So then afterwards, I believe Raccoon came in. Bobbity did basically went even HP wise with Raccoon until Raccoon planted him. Metacooler came in, ended Raccoon's existence. Then Metacooler and Android 13 had like a fairly even fight for the most part, until 13 transformed. After transforming, I believe Meta managed to tag, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he did. I remember him tagging.
Meta managed to tag. In came Deborah. Deborah had, a bit of a not the greatest match ever, actually. A bit of an underperformance from Deborah's side, at least. Android 13 being the monster that he usually is, especially in his blue form. But eventually, Android 13 does go down. I completely forgot that Raccoon tagged earlier. Raccoon's come back in. Raccoon manages to plant Deborah. But Metacooler comes back in, ends Raccoon's existence. Grandpa Gohan, the last remaining member on Muscle, hits the field. Doesn't manage to connect with an ultimate onto Meta that would have killed him. Instead, gets a supernova to the face. And then to add insult to injury, Meta tags into Macho and Vegeta, who then immediately just walks up, combo into B2, and Grandpa Gohan dies. So it was a bit of a slaughter, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure if there's much.
Just a bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I'm not sure there's much Muscle could have done about it when it's like. I think everyone would agree that Bobbity is theoretically the weakest character on the current Royals lineup. So when he is the one overperforming, it's,
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
So, anybody else have some thoughts on it?
I think Zal was well, I don't know what the word is, but eager. That's the word. That's yes. Exactly. Zal, thoughts? Apparently not. Macho,
no thoughts. All right.
No thoughts.
Fathappy beat the match to death, so I'll just do general notes on the teams. Royals, which with a working Bobbity, is a very scary thought. Just because, once Bobbity had a lead, there wasn't much Muscle could do. That Royal scary team. They're the for a reason. From Muscle's side, it's looking more and more interesting how they have Broly as their FA bench this go around. Right now they're starting with 0-3. Obviously, they're the team destined to win the bowl this year. According to the prophecy and facts and logic. But right now they're having a quite the struggle. So we'll see how they turn around. But they do have like their best roster going for them. Like Raccoon looked amazing on Sentai last year. Trunks is on his better form this year. So it's definitely, don't count Muscle out. I got him next week. It's definitely a team that can always start cooking. We'll try again now. Sal, what are your thoughts?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, my cord came loose. I also just noticed here that Android 13 did 65K this week. So he still held up his end. He went 4 for 4 in B2s too. So there were still some shining moments for Muscle too. Wasn't all gone.
Yeah.
Not that Android 13 did do like very well.
Yeah, and also Raccoon did well too.
Yeah.
I think what killed it for I think Muscle had 1 tag and Royals had how many? Was it 2 or 3?
3.
Yeah,
I think 3.
Yeah, so that didn't help either.
Also, how do you predict Bobbity doing well?
And Bobbity starting, because I don't know. I don't know if you've done it before in testing or if you've done it before in season, but I would not expect Bobbity to start. So.
I kind of expected. I was expecting / hoping for a Bojack start, because I feel like Bojack, out of all the characters on Muscle, it has like other than Grandpa Gohan, but has the slowest time at getting going, because trap shooter and needing to transform to get his really big B2s.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I kind of just put Bobbity first because I was hoping for Bojack, and also because meta with Savior is probably better than Bobbity with Savior. That was the main reason. So.
Don't listen to Matt. Put Bobbity starter always. Do it against us. I promise.
And us, please.
And us, please. Actually, yeah, do it. Right. Well, I guess we can get moving on to match number 2.
We can indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Match number 2 was Cold Kingdom versus Boo Saga. It was the first divisional of the season and of this week. And I suppose I'll give a quick rundown. So basically, we had Zarbon starting up against Spope, 2 sort of beefy boys. I mean, Spope was on Attack 2, Eternal Life, and Zarbon was on Defense 2. So you would think that Zarbon would probably get crushed just by looking at those builds. Attack usually does better against defense, but he did okay, and he managed to tag, which was kind of important later in the match. And then, basically it boiled down to a lot of spam from Cooler against Margin Boo, and, mainly Margin Boo, a little bit on Evil Boo. Devilman coming in and actually still doing things, which was a surprise. He didn't ult, which we were hoping for, but he still hit with the Demon Fork Rush.
Which
does
those 10k B2s.
10k with the Saviour boost on there. And Frieza, I think the big point for me was Frieza managing to handle Buhan. So he went, I'd say, more than toe to toe. He did 50,000 plus. I think it was 55,000.
Frieza did a 56, I believe.
Yeah, I knew it was in that region. So he managed to beat Buhan and start work on the last bar of Spopovich. towards the end of the match, which Devilman kindly finished the job for him. So that's the quick rundown. I will pass it over to whomever wants to give their thoughts first. So,
I mean, I thought it was a interesting match. I like how between Raccoon and Zarbon, I feel like there was so much planting that happened this week. To be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
There was a lot of planting, which is always fun to see. But otherwise, like, the most impressive person in the match overall, I think, was just Spope. Spopovich did over 60k, which is amazing for Spopovich, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean
Spopovich and Bobby basically sitting there, you know, really proving the power of the M.
The margin power, yeah.
Otherwise, other thoughts, mostly just that it's always really scary when someone who, like Devilman, who is considered like, you just bring him for the old, but is actually like terrifying when he actually does his good B2.
Oh yeah, you saw that last week, didn't you? I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
It's like that Demon Fork Rush it's one of the highest base damage Rush B2s that track. Is it tracking?
Mm-hmm.
I think
it is.
And it's 2 bars.
Like 2-bar tracking, like base 9k Rush B2, I think?
Yeah, it is, yeah. The only reason it's doing 10k is he does it with Savior or he has Indignation, but it base 9k for 2 bars is pretty strong, I think.
Yeah. Basically, Devilman, nothing to scoff at, even if he doesn't hit a Devilman beam.
Yeah.
I will actually point out also that damage-wise, nobody did low damage in this match. Everyone, I think the lowest is maybe... I mean, actually, if we go to Cold Kingdom here...
I know Devilman did between, I think it was like 35?
35k-ish, yeah, and Evil Boo at 33k. But,
that was anyone was Majin, right? For Busa? That Majin Buu had the...
I think he did...
Majin Buu apparently did 46, 45, something like that.
I think it's the thing of there is so much healing on Cold because they have First Form Frieza. and First Form Frieza and Cooler. There is so much fucking healing on Cold that
that's 20k.
Like, even when you lose to Cold, every character still does 40k.
Yeah. And also a 20k ult from Evil Boo. Kind of nice to know.
Oh yeah, I remember that. He did that on Cooler.
Yeah.
I think the thing is to bear in mind is sometimes Frieza can actually just increase your stats. Like sometimes he transforms and does nothing, which he did. I don't know if you remember Fathappy last week. He basically did nothing against you and just gave Deborah stats. So bear that in mind.
Well, yeah, but that's also against Deborah.
No, it can be detrimental, but it's one of those. Macho, thoughts?
Yeah, first off, I just want to ask you, xmat, why do you think was benched?
Why do I think who was benched? Kid Buu.
Kid Buu?
That's a very good question. I take it that Buu Saga maybe don't value divisionals as much, which I get because divisionals now they're good for top place seeding, but if you're not massively bothered by top place seeding, then you don't necessarily go all out for divisionals, which I mean they also must have teams that they consider scarier, maybe in androids, maybe they'll keep a Kid Buu in for that sort of match. That's part of the reason potentially. That's probably it really. I can't really think of what other reason they would bench Kid Buu unless they just thought that this lineup was more consistent in testing, and we did see Spope as like a monster, so maybe that's it. But I take it that they don't value divisionals as highly, maybe as what they once were. That would be my guess.
That's fair enough. All right, well, I just got like 2 thoughts on the match. Buu Saga is the scariest team in the league, base stat-wise. They'll always be scary. All of them are strong. And then for Cold, you know, there's that you got two characters in this league now that have hashtag life hacks, and Frieza and Cell, Imperfect Cell for Android. That must be fun.
It
Must be
great. It is
Must be
fun.
so enjoyable.
It is fun. I mean,
hashtag life hacks.
Life hacks. Yeah, it's fun. I will admit that. Whether it's as practical as 100% or Final Form Frieza remains to be seen, but it is fun, nonetheless.
That's
oh, sorry, Zal.
life hacks.
Life hacks.
That's this week's title.
Life hacks. Actually, that's a good title. Probably will be. Are we ready to get moving on? Match 3.
I think so.
Coolio. Right, we have Cinema versus Kaiju, and I mean, my overall quick thoughts on this is Gogeta. Wow, amazing. Yeah. First, I think that's his first elite. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is his first elite of the new league at the very least. So congratulations, Cinema, on that. First off, and second off, I mean, I'm gonna pass it over to you, Fathappy, because my memory on this match is a little bit hazy, other than the fact that Gogeta did absolutely annihilate. So I don't know if you could.
Yeah, I mean,
as more into it.
What's it called? As we started the match was Fasha versus Bardock, where Fasha did end up transforming. I believe it was it actually Cinema's choice to pick this map? I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I think they were planning around it, actually, because if I'm not mistaken, let me just look at the builds real quick. I think they were planning around the fact that they have a lot of people that break Power Body naturally. So they wanted a map where Kaiju would be forced to transform most of their characters on. So honestly, that's some good planning on their part.
Yeah, great. Really well done.
Yeah. In terms of the actual match, it was Bardock versus Fasha at the start. Fasha transforms. Bardock still beats them out. Then Gogeta comes in versus Bardock. Bardock gets kind of rolled, if I don't remember incorrectly. Yeah. Slug comes in. Slug and Gogeta have a fairly decent fight where Slug manages to transform and then tag. Slug and Gogeta have a fairly decent fight where Gogeta tags into Janemba before, what's it called? Slug then transforms, where he then tags into, was it Scouter? No, it was Tao.
Tao, yeah.
Yeah, where he then tags into Tao. Tao gets absolutely rolled by Gogeta, who came back in after Tao absolutely rolled Janemba. Then it's kind of just, I don't know, Gogeta just kind of slapped, Gogeta just kind of slapped Tao, then slapped Scouter a good bit. I think Scouter only killed Gogeta when he was down to his last bar after transforming. And then it was Vegito that comes in last and just wrecked the Giants because he just breaks Power Body. So it's, I don't know. It's an interesting case where it's just like Vegito was just kind of Kaiju's natural enemy. Like Gogeta and Vegito were kind of just Kaiju's natural enemies in this match.
Their natural, the natural draconic auras, came out like to play a lot in this game. So it was really good that Cinema made the decision they did. They didn't pull any punches with it, even though it is risky giving more transformations to an enemy when you have that many draconic auras. It's self-serving at that point. So it's completely fine.
Especially because Fasha can transform and then become a DA anyway, like DA user anyway at that point. So
I think it actually would have been more of a role actually if Janemba had pulled a bit more of his weight.
Yeah, it's true.
He unfortunately didn't do. He did less than 30K. He did get cut off a couple times though by B2s. I remember that. I remember Sparkle Attack got absolutely destroyed by Dodon Ray once. So, stuff happens, but still, good job, Cinema.
Yeah, I mean, Cinema planned well, and then they got the dub.
Yeah. Plan well executed. Macho, any thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I actually agree with your first sentiment, xmat, where you said there wasn't much to talk about this match other than Gogeta, and that actually is probably true, because Gogeta, he went in, rolled Bardock, went even kind of with Slug and did 50k, and he was like, all right, I'm out. And then he came back in and is like, oh, I need another 50k to do an elite. All right, I got you. So, like, the fact that he just imposed it, he's like, tag me, coach, I'm ready to back in and be the star player. Like, and I like his build a lot, because it's just defense and then leaning on his great base stats to do the damage, and obviously he can get some finish signs to help out with that. So still, even though he's on a defense build, it's still probably one of the highest damage characters on the team. So yeah, this was just a role, kind of a one-man role, and very scary looking out of Gogeta. So
I'm gonna say my thoughts on the Gogeta build is the defense and the Eternal Life is basically just like, because he's such a strong character, base stats anyway, he gets to live for so long to be able to impose himself. So I do like that build a lot that Cinema are using on him right now. So yeah, it's interesting. I will say commiserations Kaiju, because I don't think it's particularly like, it's not going to happen a lot this season where someone does that to you. Like, you get elated on that hard. Gogeta is a very strong character. It can happen. It's just a shame that, like, but usually you'd expect like Bardock or someone to sort of counteract, and maybe you just didn't have the best performance this match. But I don't think that's anything indicative of Kaiju.
I will say this is one of the weird cases where because usually, like, for Android teams, for example, they usually pick water maps to boost themselves, or like rather to the detriment of everyone else except them. And sometimes Kaiju picks the night map, so they can consistently get the transfers. This is one of the really rare cases where the only team really affected negative, or like the only team that Cinema basically had a plan of like, well, we know if we ever end up against Kaiju, they're the only team that really has giant transformations, and all our characters bring giant transformations. So let's pick a night map just to fuck with Kaiju.
It's a bit rock paper scissors, isn't it? It's like rock and scissors. Cinema is rock, Kaiju is scissors.
It's also true that Cinema has the same amount of giant transformations as Kaiju.
But their transformation, the only one that matters for them is Fasha in that sense, like for specifically the moon requirement for transformations.
Oh yeah,
I think that most of their characters just break power bodies, so they kind of just roll guys.
When you got a team that like Kaiju, whose whole gimmick is giant, that you actually go even with them with giant forms, which is
and that's it. Yeah, that's also true.
But yeah. If that's everyone's thoughts on this match, we want to get moving on to match 4?
I think so.
Cool. So we have GT versus Rugrats. Now I'm gonna let Zal have the floor on this one, but before I do, we had Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta going up against Cell Jr., which was kind of predictable and went the way you would think it would. Other than that, I'm gonna let Zal praise Super 17, which I'm sure he's going to do. And yeah, there you go.
Look, Rugrats proving why they need their diapers, okay? Because holy hell, no, I'm kidding, Tosh. Basically, didn't expect Super 17 to do this well again. I'm really happy he is. I think this is his third time hitting 70k, or close to it, actually, above 60k. So I'm very pleased with him. None of us expected him to be this consistent or like this good, and I hope to see him continue with it. I was very happy with his performance against Rayleigh, especially because if it was Android versus Android, I always expect a Rayleigh, and so I was happy. Also, Super Saiyan 4 did really, really good against Cell Jr., and that was awesome.
I think a lot of people expected that though.
I was a little bit scared.
When I saw the lineups, I thought, well, this is going to end horrendously for Cell Jr., but there you go.
Yeah, I was a little bit scared because Super Saiyan 4 has been, the last couple months, he's been a little bit off, but I'm glad to see he's still in good spirits, so that's good. And other than that, I had two other characters who, Sin Shenron. Go burn. That's all I can say to him. Go burn. 2K didn't even transform. Crazy. And I think he missed almost all of his B2s. I think he missed all of them.
Did he try an ult as well?
He might have tried an ult, but it missed, if he did. And he threw a lot of trap shooters at the sky. So Stell had to come in and clean up, but hey, that's teamwork, baby. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope Rugrats have a great rest of their season, and I hope that Go Tanks goes elite at some point.
Fathappy, you seemed very keen there to jump in.
Yeah, it's one of those things of Super 17's performance was absolutely cathartic to look at. just seeing him absolutely destroy the Demon Child was like, yes.
Yeah.
Revenge for everyone that's had to face the Demon Child. Revenge.
Yes. Yeah. Reviled character to me. Also, Super 17 has a really interesting build. I'm not sure if he's working because of the build or if he's just working and happens to have the build. But it is really interesting with attack +1 Dragon Beat, Combo Master, Light Body Series Master Throw.
Yeah.
So it's a really unusual build.
He loves his pump up. He did it 3 times this week. So, you know.
Give him the ability to do it more. Yeah, I see that.
That's the theory behind it. I don't actually know if it's working that well, but we're going to pretend it is.
If Super 17's doing well, then the build's working, okay? That's what I'll say.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Macho, thoughts?
Yeah, it was very back and forth in a way that GT had all the momentum and like 2 characters got Rugrats down to like what 3 or 4 bars between the 2 characters once they went down. So yeah, it was quite the slaughter, but almost coming back. And another interesting build is Majub Super, which is like interesting because he does have decent damaging B2s, but you'd figure he also has a great melee, or it's not Maju, but
yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's an interesting scenario Rugrats are in. Obviously, they got a good MA, so they don't have to touch Pan. So they're probably happy about that. But 03 Rugrats is very surprising. So I wonder what they're going to do because they have a lot of options.
Really quickly, I did just want to point out, I forgot to mention, I was thinking about it. Thanks for bringing it up, Macho. Oob was fucking phenomenal. Oob was great. He did fantastic.
Yeah.
So there you go. Hopefully he continues that.
Hopefully. They seem to, I think it's mainly Cell Jr. that they need to figure out, I think. I'm pretty sure it's Cell Jr. that's been not very good. Although, I know they've got a new build for Goten, so I'm not sure whether they're going to think about reverting back to his attack 2. If they can afford to, I don't know. But yeah, there's some things for Rugrats to figure out. But they're a strong team. They've made it to the bowl like several times, so I'm sure that they'll have things covered.
They can do it.
100%. They can do it. Exactly like Muscle earlier, they can also do it. Shall we get moving on? Or do we have any final thoughts? So. Cool. Right. On to match number, I think this is 5, yes it is. So we have Sentai versus Budokai, and we had Ultimate Gohan starting out against Early Goku, which was quite I remember this, it was quite a fun back and forth because initially Early Goku had like a decent lead, but then Ultimate Gohan ultimately, little pun there, decided
you're so funny.
I am. He decided that no, he wasn't having none of that, and just like you had none of that, that Early Goku was not going to live anymore, and I remember him, he just sort of beat down
Early Goku.
Did he tag? He definitely he got him on the last bar though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was at like a sliver.
Yeah. I remember him almost dying or dying, so he was on a slither because Ultimate Gohan decided to just wake up and beat everyone up. He was no longer on the Beast costume, which was a funny thing. They took him off the Beast costume and he just decided, I'm going to work now.
Thank God.
But don't let that conspiracy theories cloud your mind. I think, was it early Piccolo that came in after that?
Yeah.
Yes, it was, yeah. And Ultimate Gohan, I think, continued to beat down on him as well, from what I remember. After that point, it gets a bit hazy. All I remember is later on in the match, Raditz came in and decided to be an absolute beast on Budokai. Budokai side, trying to bring it back for them. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be, and Sentai ended up winning out in the end. Anyone have any thoughts?
You kind of summed it all up. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I thought so.
I remember Raditz doing really well that match.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, Raditz did do. He did like 80k or something.
He did. He tried to bring it back. He did try.
Raditz did well. I think Seiya Woman did really well as well. I remember multiple instances of her just hitting a B2 that did like more than 10k. Not even her ultimate.
Was Jiren in this match?
No.
No, he wasn't. Okay. He wasn't there. So.
I think the end of the match, was it GT Goku against Berta?
Yeah, Berta.
Yeah.
So. Yes, okay. And
then I remember Berta finished it all up. But, yeah. It's a
Sentai's looking good.
It's a shame on Budokai that they're still 0-3, but Sentai are where they are for a reason. There's a reason why they're 3-0.
I mean, the match was not that lopsided. I mean, because when it ended, I believe Berter was almost down to his last bar. He had 1.2 bars left, something like that. And then there was, the tagged Gohan in the back, where he had tagged a sliver of health. So it was a fairly close match, all things considered.
Yeah, you wouldn't think one team was 0-3 and the other was 3-0.
No.
You wouldn't think that. You'd think that they were like even records sort of thing.
Can we talk about the fact that Sentai are 3-0?
They're doing amazing.
Under the radar. It's gone under the radar, I think.
When I think about Sentai, I don't think 3-0. I'm gonna be honest.
You're stealing my seconds. That's what I was gonna talk about.
You know what? Take the floor.
Take the floor. Do it.
So, no, I'm like 90% sure Sentai was 0-4 in the preseason. I'm like,
GT was.
It was either 0-4 or 1-3. I mean, they had because benched every week, but it's like it's crazy. You bring Jiren in, and even the other guys are working better now too. But yes, Sentai was at the bottom, and now they're laughing. They're the only undefeated team right now, which is no small feat. So
Insane.
And also, as a former coach of Budokai, I do want analyzing of this 0-3. So for a lot of their characters, they're having very inconsistent performances. Like Enku struggled, which was surprising because he looked really good in testing with his melee build with that Super Saiyan 3. GT Goku's been inconsistent. Their only real consistent member has been early Goku. But I think actually the biggest cause of their downfall is early Piccolo's magic wore off. Because before last season, early Piccolo was one of the known as one of the derpiest characters in the game or in the league, consistently doing 30k or lower for seasons. But last year, he was an all-star. I think he had over 50k average. But yeah, that magic wore off somehow, some way this season so far, and he's looked abysmal every time he's gone in the match. So it's interesting to see how I will pivot from this, because that sucks when you're one of the best guys is back to what he was once known as.
Especially because I don't think they've changed a lot about his build or anything. I think it's pretty much the same, if I remember rightly. Attack 1 build.
Yeah.
They ran on him all last season. So yeah, that's a bit. It's a bit sad for Budokai, but maybe maybe the magic will just turn itself back on. You never know.
Hey, you never know how they pivot.
Exactly.
It's not over.
It's not over until the fat lady sings, and she is not yet singing. So, are we ready to get moving on to match 6?
Seems like it.
I'm sure this is Macho's favourite match, and he wants to talk a lot about it. But before we get into that, we'll just start off, and we'll say obviously Krillin started 3D, and then we had Marju starting Res, Erected Warriors, and I think I remember talking about this before the cast Fathappy, but Marjube kind of ran through Krillin.
Oh
and
yeah.
Started on to, I think it was mid Vegeta. He started going into him, and then there's a bit of a blank spot in my memory, but the next thing I remember is 18 basically coming in and just obliterating what was left. I think it was TN and mid Goku maybe.
I think Macho basically did like 80k, not quite killing Vegeta. Vegeta then tagged out, mid Goku came in, destroyed Maju, and then we had a fight between what's called mid Goku and in Vegeta, I believe. Where did Goku kind of get rolled? I can't really remember. Was it a fairly even fight?
No, mid Goku won.
Oh, yeah, mid Goku won.
Goku.
That's right, mid Goku won. Then Android 18 came in, and Android 18 did amazing, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I remember that. Macho, since you're here and present, if you want to give us your rundown on the UD perspective.
Yeah, sure. I mean, honestly, it wasn't even that bad of a match. Majib has been notoriously one of Krillin's worst matchups just because of his base stats are so crazy. So Krillin losing to Majib was always possible, and it happened. And also with that, the end of the match only came down to that difference. Like, the difference that Majib beat Krillin was ultimately what the difference was at the end of the day, even with all RW's tags. But yeah, I wasn't very unhappy with any of the characters' performances. It is what it is. You don't win them all. RW looks strong.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably with if you think about a lot of teams, how their rosters work, you usually have one or two characters that are usually going to be 50, 60, really strong. I think you can grab one or two characters from each and every roster that you would consider that. RW has 3 of them. They have NB, and 18. So even no matter who you have as that 4th guy, whenever those 3 are out there, you're in for a hard fight. So congrats RW. It was a well fought match. We'll see how the season develops.
Yeah. Zhao, you have any thoughts?
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Macho covered everything. Macho pretty much said everything that I could say about it. Yeah.
Commiserations, Macho, I guess. Congrats, Rez. And if no one else has any thoughts, we can move on to the next match.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, right. So the next match we have Androids versus Namek. And to start with, we had 16 going against Tambourine. And what I do remember about this match is 16 did not beat Tambourine, which was probably the biggest shock of the match for me.
Me too.
Maybe I just about eclipsing what the next thing that I'm about to say, which was King Piccolo went off. And not only did he go off, he, from what I remember, destroyed 19 and did most of Cell before going down. And then Nuova and Late Piccolo finished the deal off. I'm pretty sure Cyborg Tao did okay without being remarkable.
Yeah, well, 60k overall, so he did well.
Oh, he did 60k. Okay.
I think it was covered up by some stuff, though, but yeah, he did well.
Yeah, no, he did. Okay, yeah, but it was basically...
19 got wrecked.
19.
He hit the old.
Oh, yeah, he hit the old...
19
Yeah, he did hit the old... Yeah.
19 got absolutely rolled.
Yeah.
19.
Poor guy.
I think Tao... I remember now. Tao hit... Did he hit 2 ults, did you say? 2 ults?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I remember because his charge rate was like ridiculous by the time he was on his last bar. Like he was literally charging for 1 second, and he was at max power basically.
I mean, Cyborg Tao's build is Key +2 with launchers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
6 B2s fired with 3 ults fired too.
He fired more than 2, but he hit 2 of them.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Insane.
Yeah. Basically, Cyborg Tao doing as much heavy lifting as possible. What I do want to talk about is Cell, even though a lot of people would say he had a bad week, Cell still did, and I only know this because Anthony, fellow Capsule Cast host, sent me the stats. He still did, I think it was 45k.
46,950, yeah.
So that's considered a bad week for Cell. So bear that in mind. For anyone that's going to face him in the future, just bear that in mind.
To be fair, it is the figure like even when Cell gets, is on the losing end of a scuffle, he has so much HP with his current build, especially because he's on a defense build with Dendays, with his transformation healing and healing grabs. That if the opponent has any healing, then it also takes Cell way more than 40k to beat his opponent.
God damn.
Yeah. Thoughts? Anyone?
L did fire 5 B2s, and 4 of them hit actually. So that's a really good connection rate from Cell. Good stuff. Big Bang Crash, going crazy.
They want more drain life cells than that. If he hit 2 drain life cells as opposed to hitting, did you say he hit 4 B2s, 4 Big Bang Crashes?
Yes, he hit 4.
If he hit 2 drain life cells instead, then it swings the match massively.
Yeah, that's true. 100%. That would have been a major difference.
One thing I would like to say is, like, earlier you all were like, oh, it's a surprise that 16 lost to Tambourine. And I'm sitting here like, Tambourine used to be considered one of the premier melee characters in the league, as far as I remember.
He was the OG tank.
I don't think he never was not. Namek benched him because their coach didn't like him for 1 season, but I don't think Tambourine's ever been bad.
No,
I just consider 16 to be
phenomenal.
The top melee, like the melee guy, if that makes sense. Like, he's number 1.
Fair.
That's it. It actually wasn't against Tambourine at all. It was entirely because I hold 16 in such high regard.
Yeah.
With those grabs into the B2 combos, I just always am like, oh my god, it's going to take a character and a half.
I think Pro beat now xmat just because Tambourine doesn't have expanding energy wave he has to work with.
That's true, actually. And he doesn't have a defense -2 as far as I'm aware, unless I'm wrong on that.
I think it's -1 if I'm not mistaken.
Does it,
I think it's
defense -1?
Yes.
I didn't
I'm like
realize that. I know he's
for
a Tambourine character, yeah.
Crowan's -2, Tambourine's -1, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That's
I knew it wasn't
crazy.
-2. I knew it's not as bad as Krillin's, but yeah. Big rip. Anyone else thoughts? Or are we...
Yeah, I got some names.
Ooh.
And it's one, I was gonna kind of be like, yeah, Tambourine's pretty good, but I really want to just point out the health bars of this match. They were kind of ridiculous when King Piccolo was in. So when King Piccolo went in and like 19 was like full health, right? King Piccolo like took like 5k of health bar damage and then killed 19, and then he got back to full health once he killed 19. And when Cell came in, he beat Imperfect Cell all the way to the red health bar with still having only 5k damage though, and then he sees Perfect Cell, he's like, alright, then I'm done, and we proceed to do no damage.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I remember that. I do remember that.
He saw that Cell had finally achieved the perfect green, and then he was like, you know what, I've been out-greened.
For real.
It might have been a different match.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a very good performance from Namek. Fair play. Congrats on the win. And commiseration androids. Are we ready to get moving on now to the final match of the week?
Sure.
Cool. We have Derp versus Hybrids. And we had starting off Frost on his usual Key +2 build that they've been running him on. And he was going against Adult Gohan, who was, ironically, also running a Key +2 build. Something that I thought was a bit strange for starters. You don't normally see it, but...
I have to say, lots of B2 starters this week.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. I can't remember the ultimate specifics of this match, but I do remember Frost doing pretty well against Adult Gohan, and I think he had to tag out in the end though, and I believe he came back later on in the match.
I think this was technically Frost's worst performance so far. No,
it might have been
40k.
Yeah, he does slightly below 40k, I think, or something.
39.
That's all right for a bad performance.
39.
Yeah.
If that's what
Which actually might be his lowest performance.
No, that's what I mean. I just remember him being like 70k, 60k, or something.
I'm not sure that he died though. Did he? I'm sure. Was he still around at the end of the match in the back?
I don't remember because this match is quite fuzzy for me, actually.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think now. All I know is I remember Doria almost went elite and went crazy, and then I know at the very end, 21 came in and basically deleted. I believe it was. I think it was Sword Trunks, maybe at the end.
It was Future Gohan.
Oh, it was Future Gohan. I remember that 21 deleted Future Gohan because she used 2 B2s and they did like 20,000 in total, and then he was just dead.
Also, egg on my face. Frost did tag on literally the smallest sliver of health.
See, he was fine.
He was fine. B2s, you get 30k if you mixed in melee in there, so it was 30k in total with the 2 B2s.
Oh, so with the melee it was 30.
Yeah.
I just remember a massive amount of damage going off in the space.
Damage was 11,000.
Shout out to Doria, 85k, good stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome week.
The Doria carry match, which also kind of shows that base team Gohan is not working at all. He got destroyed by the Doria.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's nice to try these things, but I guess unfortunately at the minute it's not working out for hybrids.
Maybe they have backup plans though. Hopefully they have backup plans.
I'm sure they have their ideas. I think the problem is with Teen is obviously, and this is regardless of anything, he has the Krillin problem with the defense minus. So any damage that he takes is basically it's not doubled, but it's increasingly sort of
bolstered.
Yeah, effectively, yeah. So it's kind of a bit unfortunate in that regard. There's not really anything they can do about it. But that kind of leans into Teen being a bit of a glass cannon, or he can be. So, it's just unfortunate, really.
Yeah, but it's always nice to see Derp doing well. Also, similar to Sentai, I feel like Derp are one of the teams that have historically been seen as one of the weaker ones in the league. But now they have Frost. Yeah, now they have Frost and they have 21 that's apparently working wonders. So
you're welcome, by the way. Derp. On my testing. No, I'm kidding. I don't think she's actually on this. I don't think she's even on the same build that I tested her on.
So it's fun to see Sentai and Derp at the top of their Kai, basically. I mean, Namek is even with Derp, I think, but still.
It's actually fucking insane to see them at the top of their Kai. I can't believe it. Sometimes, when I look at the standings, I'm literally just I'm shook whenever I see Sentai doing so well.
Macho. Any thoughts?
I'm. It's this is the real loser of this match was actually me because this is the second time Yamcha has come in and done 10k because loser. So that sucks. I need next season for my loans. Who needs the option next season? I'm the one. But anyway, more serious thoughts. I hope they turn around King Gohan because they are missing an Ultimate Gohan. right, this season as well. So I hope hybrids figure that out. But hybrids are always a strong team, and those aren't the only two characters. Every single one of their characters have B1s and have a lot of things they can do. And also, Sword Trunks has looked very solid this season thus far. So that may continue happening. Derp, Frost is scary. And I always liked Dodoria and Salza. They've always, I know Salza wasn't in this match, but they've always looked like consistent characters on Derp. So, like, you know, Frost leading the way. You got a nice core with Dodoria and Salza and 21. You know, can make some moves.
Oh yeah, 100%. With that being said, are we ready to move on to predictions and also the tier list?
I think so.
Cool. Right. So, here we go. We have the tier list. I don't know if anyone has any comments on the tier list before we get moving into predictions, but it is there. We've got last week's, obviously, and then this week's. There's a few characters that dropped off, like 19. Had a big drop off, for example. Evil 2 as well, but yeah.
I mean, having a week with 2 characters in the below 10k range is it's rough.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
That is rough.
So, but otherwise, it's just it's congratulations on the elite cinema. Huh? Gogeta, well deserved. And it's always fun to see so many. When you look at that top of that tier list, there's a lot of characters that I have never seen at the top of that tier list.
Oh yeah, Raditz, Bobbity,
Raditz.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
All right.
Are we ready to get moving on to predictions then?
I think so.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right. Match number 1. We have Kaiju versus RW. I will start this off. I'm going to go with RW. Nothing against Kaiju. But I just... Whenever I look at RW, and I think you said earlier, Macho, they have 3... really, really strong characters that to where even if they bench 1, so let's say they bench 18 for instance this week, they still have Marjum and Vegeta who are just really strong. And the other 2, which would be Yajirobe and why can't I think? Why is my brain gone foggy? Who do they have in this week? They had Yajirobe and Roshi. That's their FA. Yeah, that's right. Yajirobe and Roshi are both like very consistently good characters. I mean, Roshi, not this week, but last week on the tier list was 60 to 65k. So that says it all to me. That's why I'm gonna have my vote on RW. Anyone else?
I think that I'll give it to Kaiju, mostly because it was Yajirobe that's forced to come in next week, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Yajirobe has a really hard time with Giants, I think.
Well, because most of his things are rushes, and he has low.
Yeah, like, he does have a non-rush B2, but like his ult is a rush. He has a rush B2. He has really weak melee.
It does have to be said though that Kaiju no longer have access to a moon map, so obviously Slug and Scouter can go ape. I think there's one more that can go ape naturally. I think.
Well, if they have him in, then King. So, but
moon map.
Oh, you have King. You have King.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. So it's Scouter and Slug. Scouter and Slug can go ape, right? But besides that, all of their other characters need the moon, which they don't have on their map. So it's a 2 out of 4 chance if they were both in.
Does Yajirobe's ultimate work on Giants?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, it should.
Armor rush.
Yeah, okay. I was only wondering because it's the same cut he uses against Vegeta, so I was like, it'd be cool if it did.
Hey, since Yajirobe was just revealed for SparkingZero, we can hope that in the next iteration, it'll work on Giants.
Yeah. I'm gonna vote for. I'll vote. Oh geez. RW or Kaiju? I'm gonna vote Kaiju. Actually, I have a feeling Slug's gonna go crazy.
Interesting. Macho?
RW, this is a tough week for RW to win. So, just because, I think it is pretty severe that Yajirobe is going back. And he's actually looked fairly solid in preseason and testing. But, it's not a good matchup to go into. You're probably keeping Roshi because you still want to manage your benches of those big three. And Kaiju's might have a bounce back week. You got Kid Goku, and he performed against Cold. So 2 Giants and Kid Goku, they got a shot. God dang it, they got a shot.
So I believe I'm interpreting that as 3-1 to Kaiju. So on to match number 2. We have Royals versus GT, and it's a divisional.
I'm going to vote for Royals.
Oh, he's gone soppy already.
Answer.
He's gone soppy already.
Ding, ding, ding. That is correct.
God damn.
He's already conceding defeat. I just cannot believe it.
No, I'm playing.
Okay, well, I know. I take it neither of you are gonna obviously reveal anything on here, and neither of you are gonna vote against your teams. I'm going to take that as a given.
Yeah.
It's no. He just voted against his team, so I'll take it.
I am going to hang my hat on the ring of. I think I'm going to give it to. Yeah, I'm sorry, Zal. I'm going to have to give it to Royals.
I understand.
Because unfortunately, Deborah and Majin Vegeta tax is just too high. And then there's also Metacooler that exists, and he's just an absolute royal pain in the ass. Pun definitely intended there. And yeah, that's my reasoning. I'll pass it to you both because you want to explain your stuff, but yeah, I'm gonna take it you're gonna vote for yourselves.
Well, let me go first. We're the unbiased parties. We gotta set the level.
Set the tone. Are we setting the tone? Okay, go on then.
Get the field of play. Actually, I think this match is these teams are very polarizing. There's a lot of strong characters in both these teams. There's a lot of weak characters in both these teams too. So I think it really comes down to who you got bench. I think GT wins if they bench Sin Shenron, and really that. I think GT wins against Sin Shenron. And also I wonder how Bobby's going to use, because this is the first really good week of Bobby, first muscle, and I want to see if they could capitalize. Though, I'll get like Fathappy said earlier, a down performance for Deborah is a little worrisome. So yeah, I think I'll go GT. Make it even.
It's definitely going to be a draw now. I'm gonna. I don't know if you guys want to talk on the match at all. Just give any thoughts.
I 100 actually I will say, just from off this point, I 100% agree. I actually think this is going to come down to who drags who down the worst. If Sin is in or out, that's going to be a big change. If Vegeta goes back to how he's been in preseason, that's a big change. If there's so many things. If Baby doesn't pull through or something like that, or if Super 17 decides that it's time to be every other season Super 17,
Yeah.
If Cell is just suddenly like absorption, then that would be a huge thing. So I really actually think it's completely up in the air.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing King Cold come in and just absolutely destroy every single member of GT. But no, it's probably going to be a good match. I hold GT in a really high regard. So.
I see what you're doing, Fathappy. King Cold's going to come in and do this. Meanwhile, yeah, I'm going to use that double bench boost, and I see it.
I'm going to bring in the Pilaf, and he's going to do his magic.
Pilaf machine. Hey, it'd be a good reunion if you brought in Pilaf, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Just do it for the meme.
Great reunion.
Yep, so that's 2-2. 1-1 counted the unbiased votes, I guess, if you want to go that way.
Yeah.
Match 3, we have Budokai versus Androids. This is the second divisional of the week. Back-to-back divisionals, interesting. But I am gonna. I want to say Budokai, I really do, but I have to go with androids because they've got Semi-Cell, they've got 17 coming back in, they have 16 who probably won't. I want to say won't have as bad a performance, but he wasn't necessarily terrible against Tambourine. He just didn't do as good as what 16 normally does. And then they have one of 19 or Cyborg Tao. And if it's Cyborg Tao, we saw what he could do this past week because he did 3 ults. Obviously, he only hit 2, but still, that charge rate was insane. So I'm gonna vote androids. Who shall I give it to? We'll give it to Zal. Go on, Zal.
I'm gonna vote androids because 17. That's it. 17 and Semi-Cell. That's actually it. I think 17 is gonna come back in with a vengeance, being off for a week, and I'm calling 2 ultimates from 17 this week. I'm calling 2 ultimates from 17. Although maybe they'll bench Semi-Cell, you never know. Androids work in mysterious ways.
This is true. They do work in mysterious ways.
I think I'll have to give it to androids. So I just think androids, especially now with Semi-Perfect Cell, is such a strong team.
Yeah. So. Also, to be honest, androids could go up against anyone, and I give it to him. Just to be fair to Budokai, this is nothing. It's nothing on you guys. Don't worry.
I think it'll be funny to do this. I'm going to say Budokai, and I won't elaborate further.
Funny. Okay, so that is match number 3 predictions done. I think we voted 3-1 in favour of androids. Second. On to match number 4. We have Sentai vs Rugrats. I think for me, again, I hate to be a bandwagon jumper, but I think I'm going to go with Sentai because I just think Rugrats have been really hit hard lately, and I'm not sure about their benches. If this is what will do it for me. If Rugrats can bench Cell Jr., if they haven't benched him already, then I will back Rugrats. But I have a funny feeling that they probably
they have benched him once.
Yeah, I thought that was the case. I have a feeling he's going to be in, and that leads me to think that Sentai will win. So we'll give it to Macho first. Go on.
Oh. The old Sentai versus the boys. Yeah, I don't know. Who'd you say the benches were?
So let me just have a look. So I actually have it up, but I believe
Goten has to come in for Rugrats.
Goten has to come in, and then for Sentai they have to bring.
Is it Jiren?
Yeah.
Jiren, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead to give it to Sentai and continue that 4-0. So.
All right, I'm gonna give it to Rugrats because I think they're not gonna be down forever, and a lot of their characters can start working. So I'm gonna give it Rugrats.
So much.
Funnily enough, I agree with Macho on this. I'm actually going to give it to Rugrats as well. I think Sentai is going to have a phenomenal season. However, I think it's time for Rugrats to start their comeback. I think New Goten comes in this week, and I think he has a great week and even gets them a lead.
What I will emphasise for Tosh is I hope that happens.
Yeah.
So don't take me for it against, but I concur. I mean, with Jiren coming in, that does just make it even more scary. So yeah, okay. So that's 2-2 for Sentai and Rugrats. On to match 5. We have Saga vs Cinema. This is really interesting to me because we just had Cinema go off the back of the 100k elite performance from Gogeta, or 100k plus, I guess I should say.
Who do they have coming back in?
Cinema or
Cinema. Okay,
Saga has Kid Buu.
Yeah. Kid Buu Cinema has Garnet Jr.
Oh.
I'm gonna give it to Saga. I'm gonna give it to Saga. Yeah, it's Kid Buu. It's Kid Buu. It's Kid Buu. Cinema can't really abuse their like power body breaking that much against Buu Saga. Yeah. I feel like Buu Saga is just the stronger team overall.
Yeah.
I'm always worried about that 20k ult from Evil Boo, you know? Just sitting there menacingly.
I think I'm gonna give it to Cinema. Mainly because I think they'll probably keep Gogeta around, and if they do, then I do fancy him to give them a lead, and then there are other characters to hold them onto that lead. Especially because their other characters aren't no slouches either. You've got Fasha, who's really strong. I think Garlic has had a decent enough season, but he's always a danger. I know that they don't like the ult, but that can be quite scary to come into. So I will go with Cinema. Sal?
You know what? I'm gonna go. I hope Cinema wins. No offense, Buu Saga. Love you, Dor. But I hope Cinema wins. So I'm gonna go Cinema. But that's mostly a lot of
hope. Yeah, hope and cope. I see how it is. Macho?
Buu Saga is always such a notoriously strong team. And the issue with Cinema is that even though they had a great win last week, it felt like kind of lightning in a bottle because we had two still problem characters. Fasha outright lost to Bardock, and Janemba had a bad week. And they're bringing Garlic, who's also had his own problems. So I hope they do. I like Cinema doing well. And they definitely have a lot of strong characters, but they also have a lot of flaws, and I don't think they're going to catch lightning twice. So I'm giving it to Buu Saga.
Okay,
very poetic.
That is
very poetic.
Very poetic. And again, another 2-2, so another stalemate. On to match number 6, we have Namek and Hybrids. I think that I'm going to... this is difficult. In fact, I need time to think. I'm going to pass it on to someone else. Macho, you go.
Namek versus Hybrids. I think it's probably Hybrids. Nail's coming back in for Namek, which is a decent character, but he's been inconsistent. And Hybrids, they still are a very strong team. And I would never sleep on Hybrids. Sandman, it's also looked pretty decent as a starter so far. So, yeah, I think Hybrids get one this week.
Fair enough. Zal?
Well, how the turntables. Hybrids. Because I think that and Namek's my OG. They're my home, my original place of birth in the league. That was a weird way to put it. They're the first team I joined, but yeah. I'd love if Namek won. However, I'm gonna go this week.
Okay, interesting. Fathappy? Or do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
Okay, I'll give you a little bit more time to ponder. I think actually I'm going to go with Namek because I'm looking at it here on the tier list. King Piccolo last week did 45 to 50k. This week did 70 to 95. So King Piccolo, I'm not sure if they've made many alterations to his build, but he looks fairly set. Late Piccolo, I think they changed his build this week to be more accommodating to what he was used to being on. And he did 45,000. I don't think he took that much damage. Again, I could be wrong. And so they moved things around. I think Nuova looks fairly solid for the most part, but this week he didn't do very well. So I think I have faith that Namek will figure out one of Nail and Nuova to be able to bring them up to be able to do the damage, because King Piccolo himself is doing a lot of damage right now, so they just need to bring one of Nail or Nuova up a little bit, and then I think they'll be fine. Fathappy?
I think I'm gonna give it to Namek as well. Mostly because the characters coming in are gonna be Nail and Saiyaman. And very specifically, I can see that the hybrids have written the underwhelming Saiyaman on their bench. So I don't feel like they have a lot of confidence in Saiyaman's performances.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So that's another 2-2. Moving on to match 7, we have Cold versus Derp. I guess I could spill the beans on what we're doing.
Yeah, you start.
So, the beans, as it were. So
The bang.
The
On
beans.
toast.
On toast, yeah, exactly. So, this week we are benching Frieza. So, Mecha Frieza is coming back in. Zarbon is starting. Probably against Frost, I would guess. Looking at what Derp normally do. And we have obviously Devilman's still in, and he's running Savior. Cooler is not running Savior because Mecha Frieza and Devilman are running Savior, basically. But everything else is same builds as like we normally do. So yeah, that's the rundown. Obviously, I'm going to vote for Cold. Biased. Part of the reason, and I'll explain.
Who are you fighting, by the way?
Derp.
Okay.
What I want to say is part of the rationale behind Devilman still having Savior is 3 out of 4 of Derp's characters that they have used this season, or I should say 4 out of 5, I guess, that they've used this season, are evil characters. So Dodoria, evil. Solza, evil. Frost, evil. Well, I don't know what his precise evilness rating is. And then 21, evil. Only Yamcha will not get a huge amount of damage from the ult, so that's why Devilman is still running Savior. That, and also he hits Demon Fork rushes anyway, apparently. So, yeah, that's the rundown. I'll let anyone talk first, whoever wants to.
I think I'd give it to Cold as well. Mostly, I think Cold is a slightly stronger team on average, usually. But also, it is the thing of like, Salsa's coming back in, and if they want to play around the Devil Might Beam, then they would keep in Yamcha. But Yamcha is the weakest character on their team, I would say. Which means that...
I was just to say, we played 4D chess, we have to force them to keep their worst character in.
Well, it's either they keep in their worst character or their whole lineup gets destroyed by Devil Might Be. So yeah. But it's also not a divisional week for you two. So they could very well just be like, we can keep in Yamcha anyways.
True.
In that case, then it's going to be either 21 Dodoria or Frost that are out. So...
Any of which I would be happy with.
Yeah, exactly.
Zao?
Who are... Again, say that again.
Who are we benching?
Derp.
Yeah.
Oh, we're benching Frieza.
Okay. I actually feel like that might give you a better... that might be better. You know what? I'm gonna go with Cold. I just think that Cold is... I have more faith in Cold to win. Oh, I'm so torn on this. Yeah, I'll go with Cold, but I really can't see it going either way. If Devilman hits any of those Devil Might Beams, yeah, 100%.
And Macho?
I'll go Cold since you're in the call, but...
Oh, how very nice of you.
Let's go.
I'll warn you, I feel a pretty damn good Yamcha performance in my bones right now. I feel it coming.
Is that just because everyone slandered him,
Okay.
slated him? Is that why you're saying that? I think I'm scared of Derp, I will be honest, because obviously this season
They're doing
been really
great.
good.
Yeah.
Especially if they do start Frost and he goes against Zarbon, I can see that being not the best. I'm kind of like relying on the fact that all of my better characters are in the back, and Devilman can just ult at any given point. So Frost does scare the living daylights out of me. That I will admit.
Yeah, makes sense.
So that's 4-0 to Cold. But I think it's going to be close regardless. Match 8.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, carry on.
Oh, so Derp's gonna have a great season anyway, so
Oh yeah, 100%. Match 8.
Could go horribly wrong for you.
It could.
Anyways.
I will admit it very much could. Match 8. We have ED versus Muscle. Macho, I don't know if you want to boil anything down for us. Let us know what's in
ED, because Macho's in the call.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'll give you the sauce. All right. So before we get, I just got to do a call out real quick. Did you? Only 5 of my matches are in the first 4 matches. What the heck? I have to watch the entire stream to get to my match every week. All right. Anyway. So this week we are benching mid Vegeta. And honestly, I have very little confidence going into this match. I know Muscle 1-3 yada yada, but they're bringing in one of their better characters, Trunks, and ED has historically been putrid against Muscles, so I have very little confidence going into this match. I'm going Muscle.
Oh my god! Voting against his own team. Okay.
No, that's fair. I was tempted to vote against my team too.
Oh,
I get it.
I've never tempted. Me and Fathappy are too faithful, aren't we, Fathappy?
Me neither. I have 2 championships. I'm good.
Look, some teams.
You start learning the same team has beaten you like the last 3 seasons.
All right, I'm gonna go. Screw it. I'll vote for Macho this week.
I'm torn. I'm so torn because I want to vote for Macho, but I kind of want Muscle to not be 0-3 because I feel bad for them, and I felt bad for Ryan on the stream. Say that again. I
said, why would you feel bad for Muscle? Those are 2 things that shouldn't be together, Mike.
They're 0-3. They deserve a win. That being said, yeah, they do. They're
gonna get a win. The win will just be at the bowl.
They go 3-12 and they still somehow fuck it. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure bowl wins they did have negative.
Yeah, they have. I think 2020 maybe. I am gonna give it to ED. Logically speaking, I just think that Muscle the way they are right now, I don't think that they're in a place to take on a team like ED, who I know you lost against RW, but RW, like, it was a close match, and they had their 3, like, as you say, star characters in. I think Krillin probably has a better time against Muscle, as weird as that is to say, than maybe you would against. Are you going to tell me that 13? Is that what you're going to tell me?
No, I'm saying no. Krillin and Miku are going to have probably good matches.
Oh yeah.
I think they're going to do good. I'm scared for Hercule because Hercule's been looking good, but Hercule can get destroyed by some muscly boys. I can tell you that.
What I will say is I do distinctly remember when Derp made it to the 3rd place. I think it was. Hercule did fairly well. Going against Muscle, and I think he kept Derp in it several times. So, I will go ED. Fathappy.
I think I'm gonna go ED as well, mostly because while Muscle's bringing in Trunks, you guys are bringing in Hercule, and since the following week is a divisional for Muscle, I'm almost certain they're probably gonna keep in Grandpa Gohan, and if anything, they might even bench 13. Given how it's going this season. So I feel like you just are going to end up having the stronger lineup this week.
We will see.
Okay, well, I think that's Only Macho voted against his own team. Everyone else voted for me.
That's a really good time because there were multiple weeks last season where I did predictions and I got like all but one of them wrong. So, that's a good.
Well, hopefully this is the one you got wrong for your sake. But so it's 3-1 to ED, and I think with that we can wrap up this episode. I would like to thank everyone for watching till this point and dealing with our conversation, our drama, our beef. If you want to check out the links to the Discord, website, Twitter and the TikTok in the description below. And while you're down there, leave us a comment for any improvements. But apart from that, I have been your host, xmat, joined by my co-host, Fathappy.
Yeah, it's been a good time. Looking forward to next time.
Yep, as always, and very special guest, Macho.
It's a me, Macho. Goodbye.
And Zal.
You'll never ever hear from me again.
That's a lie.
Oh no.
That is a lie. And peace out, everyone. Goodbye.